Rumors of a move away from New York City FC for Patrick Vieira are like the noise of the Big Apple traffic as it crawls through its famous streets, incessant. Barely a week goes by without a new club being linked with the in-demand Frenchman, whose encouraging start to managerial life in MLS continues. And while, as revealed by Sportsmill, things may now have got a little more serious with First Love Arsenal casting amorous glances across the Atlantic, they remain relaxed in the Bronx. They have good reason to do so. It can be disclosed that, far from entertaining Vieira's departure, New York City are understood to be planning on having him around a little longer. So much so that contract extensions are in the pipeline for not only the Frenchman, whose existing deal ends in 2018, but also his coaching staff. This is football, and things can change quickly, but there would be surprise should Arsenal make a stunning move for more than a number of reasons. Pep Guardiola aside, Vieira is as close to God as they have in the City Football Group. Sources speak almost in awe of a man with an aura about him. From the moment he walked in the door, shunned by Arsenal, more of that later, he has done nothing other than impress. There was the lengthy post-playing career stint spent studying various departments within the club while he figured out where his future lay, mixing with staff from accountants to travel planners and relentlessly soaking up knowledge of how it all operates. 1994 to 1995. Cannes 1995-1996, AC Milan 1996-2005, Arsenal 2005-2006, Juventus 2006-2010, Inter Milan 2010-2011, Manchester City 2013-2015, Manchester City Reserves 2016-present, New York City FC. Then there was his stint in charge of City's elite development squad, where players talk of a father figure, someone who was not adverse to taking youngsters from abroad out to his favorite restaurants in Manchester when their families visited from overseas. And then there's his performance in America. Forget the notion that MLS is one step above Sunday League. It is not. It is an incredibly energy-sapping, exhausting battle of attrition featuring an improving talent pool. NYCFC's first coach, Jason Kreis, arrived on the back of a glittering spell with Real Salt Lake, with whom he became the youngest coach to win the title. He was gone after one disappointing inaugural season which saw City's sister club finish 17th across both conferences. Vieira's impact was instant. In his first year, they reached the playoffs, where they were defeated by Toronto FC. In his second they repeated the trick, with a late-season fade destroying what had looked like a strong title tilt. Thomas Tuchel 4-1, Joachim Low 5-1, Patrick Vieira 5-1, Carlo Ancelotti 6-1, Brendan Rodgers 8-1, Massimiliano Allegri 8-1, Thierry Henry 12-1. Source: Sky Bet. Off the field he was winning friends everywhere, from Manhattan restaurant conversations with locals to commercial flight chats with fellow passengers blissfully unaware they were sat next to a World Cup winner. While the current campaign is relatively new, many believe Vieira has now come into his own. An aggressive summer overhaul, which saw no less than 10 players depart, has seen the new boys who arrived to replace them gel faster than anyone expected. NYCFC are currently 4 points clear at the top of the Eastern Conference, having won 5 and drawn 2 of their opening 7 games in an unbeaten start. It has not gone unnoticed in Manchester. While it may be an open secret that Guardiola is close to signing a contract extension, the Catalan famously rarely stay around for too long, and while it would be dangerous to tout Vieira as his successor, there would be little surprise at the Etihad campus if this is how it played out. The man himself describes it as the fairy tale. That is not to say the powers that be in the City Football Academy are oblivious to the nature of football. Should Vieira get an offer from a European superpower, there would be a reluctance to see him go, but also an acceptance that he should be given the opportunity to make the next step elsewhere. Which brings us to Arsenal. There is a misconception in some quarters that Vieira's relationship with the Gunners had broken down. It never did. It was his relationship with Arsène Wenger which was damaged. Vieira was amazed when he was informed of the club's readiness to sell him to Juventus in 2005. If that was not bad enough, when a deal to bring him back to Arsenal, sources maintain, was incredibly close, fell through before his arrival later in the 2009 10th season at City, it appeared to be the final straw. There have been bad words to go with the bad blood since. However, in the past 12 months or so, there has been a de-escalation in tensions. Earlier this month, Vieira claimed some former players had been too harsh in their criticism of the Arsenal manager, something well received in North London. Whether this thawing of the frosty relationship is part a strategic ploy to bring Vieira back, is unlikely. It is more an understanding between two grown-ups that there is little to be gained from continuing the animosity. Vieira remains loved by many at the Emirates, and a transition, given his relationship with many of the coaching staff, would be seamless. This may not be, however, the decision Arsenal decide to go in, and it may even be a hindrance when it comes to replacing Wenger. There is also the lack of top-flight European experience. Impressing in MLS is one thing, but appointing Vieira would remain a huge gamble. Arsenal are now, of course, on the hunt for their new man. Wenger had another year left on his contract but announced on Friday his intention to step down at the end of the season. His 22-year love affair with the Gunners is coming to end, and it is not yet clear which direction the club will go in next. One thing is for certain. For Vieira, who takes regular trips through that infamous New York traffic with his daughter as they head for a stroll in Central Park, the noise will be nothing new.